Happy Thursday, everyone. This is JoJo Bennington here with my lovely partner, Lidy Flom. And this is the Empowering Healthy Women Thursday night check-in. And we are just here to help support our little tribe, our community of women who are just looking to do some good in the world. And every week we get together for a quick 30-minute check-in to just talk about our girl stuff. And every now and then we have a guy pop in, and they're always welcome. But most of the stuff that we talk about has to do strictly with just us. And, most of the guys don't want to talk about our stuff, which is okay. It's all right that they don't want to. But, so we do this every week. This is week 24. Can you believe we've been doing this for 24 weeks?
Wow.
And right. And so, and moving into February, we're talking about, it's February, it's Heart Month. It's Love Month. But we are looking at heart in a whole different way. And everybody's doing this February frenzy, and they're all amped up, and we got all this stuff going on, but we've decided to kind of slow that down because, we're always so amped up. We're always so moving fast, but what if we look at heart health from a whole different way? And so a couple of things that we've done is we've started a meditation challenge inside the Empowering Healthy Women page. So pinned to the top of the Facebook page, Miss Anna, our lovely meditation expert, has done a 3-minute meditation for us. And the challenge is for every day for you to sit and listen to this meditation and then snap a picture, do a post of how you're feeling, of what it means to really slow down for 3 whole minutes and really connect. Just 3 minutes. It seems like so little, but to just shut our brains off for 3 minutes and breathe, and what that does to us. And so to take a picture, post up how you're feeling, and every single day that you take a picture and post up, we're going to throw you in a raffle to win some cool, fun stuff. So that's our challenge for this month. And this week we're doing 3 minutes. Next week we'll do 5, and at the end of the month we'll do a 10. So we're going to ramp it up each time as we get a little better at this. We're going to practice and move up and practice and move up. And really thinking about how meditation affects our heart. I mean, really, it's really been clinically studied that not only does it improve all of the factors that are linked to heart disease. It's just crazy. So stress, anxiety, depression, poor sleep quality, high blood pressure, all by sitting and meditating and getting quiet. Also helps to, have good nutrition and not smoke and not overdrink and do all of those things that also affect us. But to involve quiet, focused attention, to just sit comfortably and direct our breathing into our heart. You can say a mantra as we go along. Right now, this week, we're just focusing on being mindful of our breath. And so it'll be really interesting to see how we do through this month as we move through different phases of breath. But Anna was supposed to be with us tonight to chat a little bit about meditation and really how it affects our physiology, and to talk a little bit about the challenge, but that does not work out, and so we just roll with things. And Lidy has also, she's our resident master whiz on how the body works, and so stress. Lidy, is anybody stressed out there? Is anybody having some stress that is affecting our heart? So how is our stress really affecting us?
Well, thank you, JoJo. As you can hear, my voice is a little bit bass, and I think that sometimes it has to do with the fact, like, you know what, where is stress? And how did this happen? Right? And somebody said, well, how is it that even people that are health conscious can still get sick? And I said, so guess what? We don't really know what sick is. We can say that the invaders, that there's certainly enough in the atmosphere, there's enough in the water we drink, can be, or the water you're not drinking. It has to do with maybe how you're sleeping, how you're not sleeping. Has to do with the things you think, and the environment that you're within. And I know we lived in a mold environment. I mean, we had no idea how bad some of the situations were. We just lived here, right? But notice that there were some things that were really not ideal situations. And so what I can tell you is that sometimes you think about the fact that maybe we're walking like on the fence line. We're sort of like walking on that balance beam. And as the breeze comes along, you might say, I'm strong enough, I can still keep walking forward. But the bigger the breeze, like the huff and a puff, and I'm going to blow your house in, kind of like, you know, the Three Little Piglets, that all of a sudden you feel like, wow, what just happened? And so last week, my husband came home and said, there is so much stuff going on at work. And he said, you know, I'm just going to like, just pray that we just get through this whole thing. And just feeling a little challenged. I said, well, let's just up this immune boost. You know, we went to the convention and got some. And so we did. And he only had a couple of days down. And then I was brushing my teeth one night and I said, you know what? All of a sudden you get this message, like, I know, maybe I should ask him what toothbrush he's using. And that occurred to me. I know. And he described it. And I said, that is my toothbrush. So I brushed my teeth with his toothbrush. So I had one day down, kind of just rested it out. And this is what you're hearing, kind of like the little aftermath. And I feel great. I helped somebody move for 2 days. I was, I'm going to say 61 climbing into up and down like I was 20. And so I don't feel like it really got me down, but I can tell you that my body is a little challenged, and then your body has mechanisms to back you up, right? So I'm going to just talk a little bit about stressors that are mechanisms. So I think that we're living in an age, in a time where we have new ways to love. We have new ways to love our body. We have new ways to love life. That we can love the fact that we know things that in the past we used to think that it wasn't so. Like if your brain has dead, we say you lost some brain cells, and they say you cannot restore. And the truth is, you can restore brain cells. And that you say, well, part of my heart, is a muscle, and it seems like it doesn't have all of the chambers that are in their best health condition. And subsequently, and I can tell you firsthand that I worked with a gentleman who had a heart transplant. And of course, they always suggest that you keep the immune system suppressed because they don't want the body to resist it, because they know that the body can abort that. So if it's going to resist it, it's going to shut something down. And subsequently, you're left with, imagine, no heart, right? And so here's what we know, that there's some key factors that we have to know about, is that we have to start looking at and appreciating adaptogens. So your body will adapt to your condition and start firing the way it's supposed to, providing it gets the resources and knows how to send the signal, right? So we have stress. All of a sudden, sometimes the heart would palpitate. Sometimes we get like nervous tension. We don't have mental clarity. We can't sleep at night. So this is restlessness and so on. And all of a sudden it can be a result of what's going on over the months of just having stress from October, November, December, come January. Now it's February. We're still in the winter months. And we've kind of gotten through the heat of the season. Now we're kind of like backing out at Christmas, and we come back into the springtime. So all of these stressors are indicators of what can tap in. Now, we know that cortisol is one of the things that we have a lot of bad rap about. And I really wanted to be maybe giving you insight tonight about the fact that cortisol is actually a good thing. You want your cortisol in check. You want your glucose in check. If your glucose isn't in check, when something happens in your life, let's say you pinch you have your finger in the door, okay? Or let's say that you got a dog chasing you, okay? So your adrenals have to like kick in, but there is a release of cortisol if your adrenaline is not high enough, or your glucose levels aren't high enough so that you can run at the speed in which you need to run, right? Or take the inflammation away so that the inflammation doesn't stay there. So cortisol is released. And so cortisol is not a bad thing. It's when it never shuts off and keeps emitting into the system. And so if I can maybe give you some insight tonight, that it's really, again, all about balance. So when we're looking at this whole balance conversation, we know that we have to have homeostasis, and it's bioelectrical and biochemical balance. So under stress, it's like having this as a blood vessel and call it a straw. I should have gotten a straw, but put this picture, if you're going to like repeat this to somebody, take a straw and then you squeeze that straw. Okay, that's constricting blood vessels and constricting nutrient delivery, or gives you inadequate absorption. And so now the body cannot maximize its potential of being able to receive the resources. So your body thinks it's starving. And so what does it do? Hangs on to what you just ate, doesn't digest it because it says, slow down, we're under stress. Let's just use this a little bit slower. And then all of a sudden we feel like the body says, I need some energy. I need some energy. And we start looking for things that give you what is called instant energy. Well, that would be the caffeine, the sugar, the alcohol, kind of like gives you some adrenaline, charge, if you will, rather than giving your body the release of opening up the channels for proper delivery of nutrients. And all of a sudden, we say, well, if there's nutrition that absorbs regardless of your body's ability to digest right now and delivers across the cell membrane, it doesn't matter how stressed out you are. Because right now, it feeds your body. It knows what to do, when to do it, how to do it, 24/7, 365. And years ago, when I started learning this, I have to tell you that some of these thought processes were like, this is why I'll never stop. This is why we can always give hope in no matter what degenerative state of being that we're in. Doesn't matter if you're in stage 4 of, I don't care if you got circulation, you got, looks like you have to have amputee going on. Doesn't matter. Here's what you say. Don't stop today. Don't buy into that thought today. We have to open up these pathways and get something that can deliver regardless of the challenge. And when it delivers, right now, it's broken down into the ability to now go make a muscle fiber and to take the stress and tension off. It's like, imagine, like it says, relax, expand. It sends the signal to the brain, that says, start communicating. Let the body know that, we got everything covered. Start communicating. Don't have this, imbalance conversation happening, but you have to give your body those resources. And so I think that we're living in a time where, like, can we call it telemedication? Telemedication, like our body's going to tell us what it needs, and they're trying to, link that to medication so they can put these patches on, for nitro patches for your heart, and they're literally putting it on like a skin patch. So if you don't think that medical world has it figured out, and so does the nutritional world have it figured out, that you can spray things on topically, you can put it on the bottom of your feet, regardless of the situation. And your body takes it on into the bloodstream, sends that message through the transportation system, and delivers and does the job right now. Knows how, knows when, knows what, knows exactly what to do. And the day that I think that we get that is the day that we can say, fear not. It's just cells. It's just, a breakdown of communication. It's just some blockages. And so what can I do to kind of stay the course? What can I do to stay the course? And your heart is working for you. So I happened to go into a magazine, and it was an ARP magazine, and they were talking a little bit about heart, the heart and the healthy you. And of course, February is all about that. So there was a list of 7 worst things that we can do for our heart. So I thought that it might be fun to kind of just talk a little bit about that. And I'll go back to the cortisol level and how to restore, kind of like that whole conversation. So it says, when you sneak a smoke, not a good thing. And so we can stop smoking, like right now, and you can take your cigarettes. I've helped a lot of people just say, hey, stop today. They said, well, when this, packs, when I'm done with this pack. I said, well, be done with it. Let's go right now. You cannot throw them away, and you got to break them up and put them in the toilet. We're going to flush this so that you have no temptation. And so I get several friends to this day say, I remember that day, Lidy. And I thought, I can do this. And then it was a day later, and I was thinking, why did I just not take a couple back? And so, but when you make a commitment, and then you got to know that your body's going to be challenged, like you're going to want to go eat something, or so you got to put some good protein into the conversation, because you're going to start craving things, and B vitamins are really helpful. And so, but smoking has such a contrary, health effect, because it's restricting. So if you want to open up the pathways, you got to take the restrictions away. And that's a big one. Another one is when you skip your walk. My father always said, keep moving, keep living. When you're moving, you're always going to live. If you're sedated lifestyle and you're trying to figure out how you can keep up, he said, just keep moving, just walk. And I know that there are people that actually in their office, they have raised their desk and they put a treadmill in there, and they just walk very slow on a treadmill. I met this lady in the restroom one day, and she had this most gorgeous body. And I said, can I just ask you, what's your secret? And she said, just what I told you. And I said, that's all you do? She said, yeah. She said, I actually walk probably about, 5 to 6 hours a day, just on a slow pace, just keep my body moving. She said, I don't need a health club. I just really need to keep my body moving. So a tip. Number 3 is kind of to snarf out that extra cookie, kind of just take that little sweet thing away. And, it's because it's become one of the biggest issues, because honestly, it's the 50 calories, 50 calories, 50 calories. And it's usually at the end of the day, and we start looking at, putting some more sugar and caffeine or whatever it is that goes with that. But it's actually hard on our system. And, our body starts to hang on to that, and it feeds the yeast. It helps just maintain toxins in your visceral fat. And you can have a fatty liver, you can have a fatty heart, you can have fatty organs, and it's chokes them off. So eat dinner out of a box. That's another one. That's a no-no. Look at what you can do to eat vegetables. So you say, if I could do anything, if I could do some vegetables and, I know that I'm going to go towards something. There's too many bags and too many boxes and too many sick people. So if you can do something just by cooking something for yourself, even if it is that you're going to make some, chicken soup, or you're going to make something, have it so that it's there for a couple of days. If you just kind of like know your pattern, right? Have some nuts or beans or legumes, and they're easy to get to, and giving your body protein is, very helpful. So take on protein bars. And then when you shun your vegetables, I think this ties right into that one, is that we really need to like look at more veggies, more plant sterols, and everything is to help us get to the point of where our body can recognize that, and it feeds the body nutritionally in terms of its value, because you can eat them raw versus cooked, baked, stewed, fried, processed, and that's dead food. So we want to eat living food, and kind of like a clue. Don't lose your cool. When you like, I always like to think of it like, when you lose your cool, it's sort of like we are a stick of dynamite. And there's certain things that can like just set us off. And I sometimes think that, your wick on your stick of dynamite can be like this long, and sometimes it could be that long. Is like, and why do we tolerate this stuff? But all of a sudden we find ourselves not even being able to tolerate it. Don't even look at me. Don't even start. Boom. And we go off, right? So it's time for us to like take a deep breath. I think, this is what we're talking about in meditation. If you can walk away, count to 10 before you respond, and just say, there was a study actually that was done in 2017, and they studied over 2,500 people at the age of 54 and older, and they looked at, their chronic stress situations, and they saw that once that they were able to control their stress situation, that whole cortisol level, exercise, meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, they all started looking at what that could do to change their life. And it totally transformed their lives just because of understanding what happens when you blow your fuse. And I sometimes think of it like a word picture for me years ago was like that blow off was like a volcanic eruption that happened. It came out as hot lava, and then it goes down this mountain, and it goes down the mountain, and it leaves a pathway, right? And all of a sudden it hits the beach or water, and it turns into black beach, or it's called that acid. It's all black. And so internally in our body, if we looked at it like that and say that was hot lava, and it's going to impact something, it's going to leave a pathway, it's going to leave an imprint, because those are called stress moments, PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome, is all a result of people. They're not just military people. They're people that have actually gone through divorce, people that have actually had death in their family. Something traumatic has happened. And these are all, PTSD people. It's not just that situation because they've been in the military. So 7, don't overdrink. So, like my father would say, even over drinking water, you can die if you overdrink water. We always think that means, alcohol, or it means, I drink too much pop, or it means it can be anything. We're back to the conversation about balance. So, but alcohol gets into the bloodstream quicker. It certainly doesn't keep us, it throws your acidic, values off. And of course, the one thing that we can do to help give our body, the ability to fight off any of this has to do with, take on some protein, take on something that helps stabilize your body, help your heart condition, help your detoxifying organs. I always like to say, it's until you've actually tried it, it's like you really don't know the difference. And all these elderly people that are in these nursing homes, they all are giving them, let's call it less than high quality shakes. And so too much sugar. And so they're actually just, letting that body build up some more yeast, which is the beast. And when some of these famous doctors right now are talking about that fact that we have to go and address the beast, addressing the beast is going to be that number one thing, because that's another stress. So all these are stressful situations. So I don't even know what time we have. Probably we're running out of some time, but Jojo, maybe I should just hand it back to you and just know that, we could go on about the subject again and again, on deeper levels, but maybe that's just kind of like a little Thursday, kind of chat that kind of gets us in the right pattern.
Wow, such good tips. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And no question, it's that thing, especially for me. One of the things that our life coach taught us is that first thought is typically the wrong one. So don't go with that one. Go with the second one. So when you can think past that first thought of wanting to react, that second thought is usually the response. And how that changes everything, right? So that's sometimes it's the third. So hang on to it for a second. But that was such a good point of, when we think about it, I was going to ask you, sometimes when you were bringing up the point of how does somebody healthy get sick? And sometimes I think that, especially as women, we give and give and give and give and give and do and give and do and do and do, and we don't ever stop. And sometimes I believe it's our body's way of making us slow down, whether we want to or not. And so how hard are we working? How stressed are we? How much are we giving out and not taking back in? And so sometimes when that happens to me, I first look at how much I'm giving out, and I can typically relate that back to how I'm feeling. So I know you, Lidy, and you're such a giver to everybody. And so perhaps this is just your little indication to take a breath and slow down a little. But, right? Yes. And so I thank you for all of the tips. And it's just, heart health. And we've just, released an amazing new product in our company that actually is clinically proven to deal with cholesterol and help with heart health. So cool. Love it. And one more step to just balance our body out. And it's good to think about the cortisol, because sometimes it just gets a bad rap. And but it's there for a reason. It's doing us a favor, and how to keep it in balance is, and it's the balance always. Balance of anything, balance of the hormones, balance of, did Lidy say what to take to bring down the cortisol? Did you mention of what? I mean, all of these things will bring down your cortisol level, right? But is there something specific that you'd recommend?
Well,
to restore?
I'm going to go and when it is that you start taking a look at your adrenals are actually exhausted. So when you look at cortisol issues, I think that we get confused because it seems like we have, it's really called Addison's disease, or when it gets down to another label, it's adrenal exhaustion. And it's an adrenal deficiency. So your adrenals take over. This is why women have hot flashes. This is why even men have hot flashes. Your body can sweat. My husband actually had been waking up years ago, just like sweating. And I'm like, what is going on? It was like brown sweat. And I thought, what is that? And so he was at a point of adrenal exhaustion. and because of the chemicals that he's working with, as he was a mechanic, that it was coming through his pores. So his body needed to get rid of some more toxins fast enough. So a toxic liver or a toxic body, you know, the adrenals are just saying, I'm overworked. So there's certain nutrients. Erythro is one of the ingredients that, you know, when you're starting to take a look at products that have certain ingredients in it, you can literally restore the adrenal glands. You can rebuild the adrenal glands. And it can take on any heat in the battle. It can take on any stress. It's designed to do that. But when we have the takeover from menopause, and it's talking to the pituitary, it sends a message to your adrenals. It says, hey, take over. These guys are retiring. And you're like, oh no, we're already on burnout. So I know we're at the end of the call, but I'm going to say erythro is an ingredient that you want to be looking at. That is your number one. And it's hard to find sometimes, but when you're looking at, I say, get back in touch with the person that invited you here, and maybe they can guide you through that. I think we just want to like create some general statements here. And zinc is also another very important conversation because it's hard to find it. So when I had this little thing going on, my throat was actually swollen. I actually took a zinc spray and I sprayed it in the back of my throat and took a little bit of coconut oil, a quarter of, it was probably a half a teaspoon, and just like coated my mouth so it would actually just make it calm. And then I just took on a little couple detox, you know, cleanses, and I went to bed. And in the morning, the sore throat was gone, the inflammation was gone.
Yes.
So a couple ideas.
Love it. Thank you. And we hope you're feeling better.
Oh, I feel great.
You seem like you feel great. And it's all right. It's the new sexy voice for you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Mine has sounded like that for a while. So I don't know what it is. But
Friends, it was the sexy phlegm, Phoebe's sexy phlegm.
Ew.
There you go.
Nice. I have it all the time. This is how I normally sound in the morning, but I've just sounded like this all day, like for the last 2 weeks. So whatever makes you and me together, sister. We'll be sexy phlegm sisters. It's all good.
Yeah.
All right, girls. Well, and you actually gave us, as you were saying that, I think that, you know, having a really good conversation about adrenals coming up soon would be a great conversation, because I think it's something that we cannot talk about enough. And so that will be upcoming.
Absolutely.
And so next week, Thursday night, same bat time, same bat channel, we will be here. And thank you all for sitting in with us tonight. Love you all. Jump into the meditation challenge and do that with us. And let us see your pretty little meditation spots and how you're feeling as you go through all of that. And I wish you all a wonderful week. Thank you so much for all your knowledge, Lidy. We love you.
Thank you, Lidy and JoJo.
Bye. Bye, kiddos.